Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, me too. I was really pushing that.
Roll call?
John Coleman,
Here.
Kim Prepper,
Here,
Ronnie Maines, Jason Payne,
Here.
Dennis Smith.
Okay, that being said, I'd like to call the May 15th, 2025 Special City Council meeting to order. We did the roll call. I want to welcome everyone in attendance. Thank you for coming. And if you have not already done so, please sign in at the front. That being said, can we stand and Councilor Cupper will lead us in a prayer.
shall we pray, please? Our Father in heaven, thank you for the day you blessed us with, another day of life, and just bring us all here together tonight to conduct the city's business, that we do it with honor and respect. And most importantly today, I want to mention that this week is National Police Week, and May the 15th is actually recognized as Police Officers Memorial Day. So as we pray, just keep in mind our police officers who have fallen, and of course the ones that are still here with us, that they protect us, they serve, and they put their life on the line each and every day. Thank you for the day that was, and just as we conduct our meeting tonight, that there again you honor and praise it, and forgive us for sins and where we fail. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Just a couple quick announcements. Monday, the Williamstown City Hall offices will be closed in observance of Memorial Day, May 26th. Not this Monday, sorry, May 26th, Monday. We will hear tonight from some potential city council candidates who are interviewing to replace myself from the council. There is going to be a road closure May 19th at the US 25 Connector Road. Will be closed to through traffic to allow Norfolk Southern crews to perform necessary repairs at the railroad crossing. The closure is expected to last about 4 days, weather permitting. A detour will be in place, directing traffic to the south via Baton Rouge Road. So motorists are encouraged to plan ahead and use caution. I just got that announcement just a few minutes ago. It came through, so, and that is starting Monday 19th. Also, as Councilor Cropper said, today is Peace Officer Memorial Day, and this week is Peace Officer Week, and we do appreciate all those who serve and have served. So thank you for that, Kim.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into business here. We have old business that we want to bring up, and I would need a motion to bring off the table the corrections and approval of meeting minutes for special council meetings March 18th, April 15th, and April 21st, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
So moved by Councilor Cropper,
I'll second it.
second by John Coleman. Any discussion? Roll call?
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Prepper,
Yes.
Jason Payne,
Yes.
Dennis Smith.
Okay. I'm assuming these all went out the other day. Hope you had a chance to look through them. And I'll take a motion at any time to approve.
I would make a motion that we approve the minutes from March the 18th, 2025, April the 15th of 2025, and April the 21st of 2025. as
We have
presented.
a motion on the floor by Councilor Cropper. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Smith. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call?
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Prepper,
Yes.
Jason Payne,
Yes.
Dennis Smith.
Okay, good. Moving along. Corrections and approval of meeting minutes for regular council meetings for April 1st, 2025 and May 5th, 2025. For those of you who just came in your packets for the May 5th minutes that went out, I discovered about an hour ago that you did not get one page was missing. And you'll see the corrected and updated minutes in front of you. If you want to take a minute to read through them. And I will tell you, it was the back page of page 1 was missing. Anyone who feels like making a motion, go right ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 1st, 2025 and May 5th, 2025 as presented tonight.
We have a motion on the floor to approve April 1st, May 5th, 2025 by Councilor Crumpler. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by John Coleman. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
John Coleman,
Yes.
Tim Crumpler.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Jenna Smith.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're pretty well caught up on minutes, aren't we? Well done, Lisa. Well done. That was a large undertaking that you took to catch us up from the 1st of January, and I commend you for that.
Thank you.
A little discussion on the Marigold Day Festival. So, we received a check for a sponsorship / grant of $10,000 from Interact Health. For Health group. And I met with Caitlin Thayer Bentley, who I believe is the director of the group. She came down and had a great discussion with her. She actually encouraged the city to do it again this year and encouraged the city to take the check. And we had the check. I did ask her if was it sponsorship, was it grant, and could it be used for other things? She said no, it's a grant or sponsorship specifically for Marigold Day Festival, which I said is fine. In the meantime, I did find out that we were already committed or contracted with entertainment for that day, and the day is September 20th. So there is a contract executed for entertainment for Marigold Day Festival for September 20th, which of course we need to honor one way or the other. My suggestion to the council, certainly open for discussion, is to let's do it on the 20th. I would like to form a committee, and I will probably ask Councilor Payne and Smith if they would lead this committee and form their own subcommittee to put together a festival, and there's a lot of details that go into it, and I want to make sure that we hit every one of them, and there are a lot of people to draw from the town that can assist. And I'd like to make sure we do it and do a great job if we're going to do it, and that's, whatever we do, we should always make sure we do a great job. So that's my recommendation to the council. I'm open for questions, thoughts, discussion.
What's the date? Does it interfere with the Bluegrass Festival? Is it still gonna be downtown? Is it the following week? I don't want to back the street department and the police officers up with like back-to-back weeks of,
It does come close to the Bluegrass Festival, I believe. It might even be
The
a week.
27th, yeah, the
Yeah,
following
it's a
week.
week
Next week,
before.
yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, it's a lot to go back-to-back weekends. It's a lot on our guys. Sometimes it's overtime, you know, but I just. and I think
It will
it's a lot.
probably be overtime, but again, I would, you know, the grant itself
Mhm.
would allow us to reimburse the overtime.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have it still. I think the citizens like having it back. I would love to have changed the date, just to, go ahead.
I spoke to Jamie Baker today about something else, and we had this conversation as well. And she talked about Founder's Day, which I believe is June, I can't remember the exact date, June 20th or something?
I think it's 14.
Okay, 14th. So, and she talked about, of course, it's too quickly to tie all that in this year, but she talked about that might be a good idea to tie those two things together next year. And, you know, again, I understand where the whole festival is coming from. I obviously remember as a child, you know, Miracle Day, and it was great, and it was fun, and all the things. So, I mean, I don't guess that money can be pushed to next year, like,
I really do not only do I not think it can,
okay,
and I think there would be funds for next year, besides
Okay.
that. But we have a $2,800 contract.
yeah, with the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we don't wanna, obviously, not honor that, so.
But I mean, we could, but,
Right, but then I feel like that's
yeah.
wasting money that's being given to us, so,
Anyone
I
else?
don't know.
I'm excited to be a part of it, to contribute and to help lead the event committee to making this a successful event. I think Jenna and I have, we've got experience, and you guys probably have experience too. If you want to be a part of it, we're not closing it off to any other assistance, but I think we can definitely knock it out of the park. I had a lot of things that we can improve on from the last year, and I think it does bring the community together. I don't want it to take away from anything from the following event. And I do agree it does need to be moved apart from that event the next year, but I think we have enough people to be able to put this on, and I know it's only 4 months away, but I'm still confident that we can do a nice job with the team that we have right now, and I just appreciate the vote of confidence to try to make something. Like I said, I don't have experience with Marigold Day in particular. I know that a lot of folks here, that's something that they did as a child, you know, and it's a great memory for a lot of people here. I just have event background, formerly in San Diego, I put a lot of events on, and I think with the budget that we have and the resources that we have available right now, I think we could do a good job.
Yeah, I look at more the merrier, the more the merrier in the committee. I feel that, you know, if just one or two people are doing it, you're not gonna dot all the i's and check all the t's, cross all the t's. It will miss details, which I think the more people who have expertise in certain areas, it's better. So I appreciate that, Jason.
To piggyback on what John said, with the festivals being back to back, I do agree with your points with that, John, but I feel like,
That's a good point.
Well, we've already got a contract, so.
yeah.
We're
that
stuck with this
contract-
date. I think in the future, one feedback I did hear last year from Miracle Day, a lot of people remember remember the parade,
Yeah.
and we had no parade last year. So I think
Everybody loves it.
that, yeah, I think they want the parade part back to start the festival, so to
Right.
speak. But, I mean, that's just what I hear when
And
people are
maybe
talking to me about
We
it.
can think further for for 2026
Right.
and tying it in with that Founder's Day.
Right, and I think we should partner with Jamie
Yeah.
and make sure we have the dates and
Absolutely.
they don't collide.
Yeah. I think we're stuck this year with the date, and we'll just make it happen. And next year, we'll work on a better date, and
Yeah.
we'll have more planning, more time.
Counselor Cropper?
I don't really have a lot to say about it. The only concern I had, as I shared with you, is that you gotta keep in mind, I think Walton has their old-fashioned day that day, and Owenton has theirs as well. And both of those are really good events. So you draw a
Yeah.
huge amount of people away from, it puts you kind of in a disadvantage, but, you know, if it's the council's blessing, then I'm not gonna say no to it.
All right, so we'll go forward and we'll give it out 100% and we'll make it happen. Give it all we got. All right.
Something I just want to put out there is I'd like to start thinking too about using the amphitheater behind the city buildings there, or not the city, but downtown. I think we're missing our opportunity, and if there's any way we can get some additional grant funding somewhere to do some grass and some, you know, a little, a park structure or something like that, that people could use it throughout the year, I think that would be a good use of space. If you could make it multi-purpose, where you had a park, and then also, when you have your big events, convert it, just bring a stage in and all that stuff. Kind of like Dry Ridge does, they bring a nice stage from a place up in Cincinnati, and it just looks really professional, and but we just want to kind of up our game on all the angles, even where we're the venue, because we need to make sure we have a good venue moving forward to do events, and I think that's something we haven't paid much attention to back there. So I'd like to
Yeah, agreed.
focus on that.
I also think we should, we're talking to the businesses on the main street and see
Right.
what impact it had last year on them and what do we, what would they like us to do different this year. So,
Yeah.
100%. All right, thank you, everyone. Okay, so the next part of our agenda, it's just, we have a vacancy on the council, and it's the council's responsibility to appoint the sixth council person. From when I was appointed as regular mayor, we have approximately 1 month or 30 days from that point to appoint. So that calendar is closing in on us. I think I want to say the 22nd is the date, I'm not positive. So we're here tonight, we have, I think, 4 applicants with us. And we'll call you up one at a time. And when you come up, I'd like you to just state your name, tell us where you live in Williamstown, and then tell us what you want us to know. And tell us something about you and what you feel you would bring to the council, and why is it that you would like this position. And then we will have, or the council may or may not have questions for you. After we've spoken to all the applicants, the council will go into executive session to discuss. When we come out, at that point, the council will have the option to appoint someone to fill the vacancy or not. And if it's a not, then we'll probably do the same thing again on Tuesday. By Tuesday, we will have a candidate. All right, I talked enough. First, looks like we're going alphabetically, so Joshua Alsett.
Councilman, Mayor, thank you for having me today. My name is Joshua Alsop. I live at 103 Cynthiana Street, just down Far Rock and hit from here pretty much. I've lived in Grant County for about 4 years. I've worked in Grant County since the ARC was under construction. Currently employed at the ARC counter as a peace officer. You get to see all the people that come into the city every day, and city impact that we could have, potential impact that they could have on the city. I'm a fiscal conservative. I think that saving the taxpayers' money where we can while still contributing the most we can, whether it be with the festivals or with a park, things like that, just being responsible to where we can use those funds the best way we can possibly. I think we have good potential to bring more people into Williamstown. In my past 7 or 8 years being here, I kind of saw ups and downs where Williamstown's tried very hard to bring businesses into Williamstown, and it's gotten a lot better with Hans bringing some business in and all the different businesses downtown. Dry Ridge is competing with us, and I think that we can do a better job of getting people to turn left essentially off that intersection, and encouraging business owners to open up shop. Just some basic things like some tax breaks for local businesses to open up downtown. That would be like a temporary, like a 1-year thing, where we could reimburse, cut a portion of their property tax or a portion of their income there to incentivize more businesses to come here instead of Dry Ridge. And then in a couple years down the road, when that income comes in, then we can start to lean on those businesses a little harder for revenue and to improve the city. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, that's about it, really. Yeah.
Okay, any questions at this time?
Josh, I know you're at the yard quite a bit, I'm sure, I don't know if the schedule is flexible or not for the DPS there. Is that what is still DPS, is that what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, we meet quite often, sometimes we have additional meetings, there's like tonight, we have to be here to do different responsibilities, but how would that work with your current work, your work schedule? Would you have the flexibility to come over here, be available at meetings and?
Yes, sir. So like right now, I'm working in our admin, especially with my tenure there. I've been there for 10 years. Are very lenient with where I can be. I'll just to give a heads up, basically. I would plan my schedule to have most of the times off where we would meet at, and then meeting that would come up, like a potential meeting I could always request off, and they have no problem giving it to me. And then one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm a business owner. I've taken the business from $0 to $100,000 in sales in a year. So I do have some experience fiscally, as well as historically with being in the area for so long.
I wanted to ask about your business, Josh. Is it just out of your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so a lot of, I guess,
Website
mail order
sales.
Okay.
I'd really love to open up a storefront downtown. It's kind of, I've doubled the business every year since I've been open, and I think maybe 2 more years and I can start looking at a storefront. And I love Williamstown. I have 3 beautiful little girls and my wife that live downtown. They love it here. I looked at Pigeon Forge, or I look at a different city where there might be more draw, but my desire, my goal is to improve this city, to bring more people into the city to where this is home, this is where we can open the storefront, be successful, where business owners can be successful and not have to worry. I mean, I think business is good downtown, but I think it could 3 or 4 times improve to where we're sitting real nice.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Councilor Coleman?
Well, actually, I had the pleasure of speaking with you today at the shop, so. Oh, well, let's see, what do I got for you today? I don't have much. Thinking of a good question here, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Kim?
Sorry, good presentation. I don't have any questions.
I have 2 more questions.
Can I ask one?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about your leadership skills and what makes you a good leader.
So I've been in law enforcement for the past 10 years. I was in security before that. I've always had a heart to serve. My father was a sheriff's deputy, all the way to captain in Boone County. I grew up in Northern Kentucky. I took the job at the ARC encounter because I'm a Christian. I went from Fidelity's corporate security to a pay cut to come in and work at the ministry there. And then from then I started as a basic officer to now I created a program that started the security associate program for the ARC. So we've hired 16 new individuals when we were in a hiring freeze and couldn't recruit. So now we've had 4 new associates move up to officer and fulfill that vacancy and help our recruiting. I'm in charge of all the vehicle maintenance and all the vehicles for all the officers, so I'm constantly scheduling vehicles, communicating with different officers to make sure that they can bring a vehicle in for a certain day. Is this park going to be within budget? Can we make it fit within our fiscal budget for the year? Does this need to get pushed back? Is this going to be preventative, or is this something that has to happen? And then I'm an officer in charge, so anytime there's not a lieutenant or sergeant on property, I'm the one they go to. I've worked with Jason back in the day. We've had numerous emergency calls, from CPR to a lost kid. Just today we had a seizure on a bus, and I took point and I led the whole calling the EMTs, doing it outside law enforcement, outside EMS. That's my everyday. I focus on my ability to build relationships, both inside and outside. So I'm the guy that the guys come to talk to. If they don't want to go to the top, they're like, hey, what do you think about this? That's me. Talking to outside LEOs, talking to Curtis, talking to the different people, just getting your feelers out there and having it. So if we ever have a reason to go to you, or if we have an emergency that comes, it's not the first time I've met you. It's not the first time we've talked, not the first time we've worked together, not the first time we've interacted. It's, that's my main thing, is to build those relationships. So, when you do have the Marigold Festival come through and you have to have an entertainer, who's the entertainer we want? Oh, the guy last year. Well, we know him real well. Let's see what we can do with that. Or with a local business who's maybe less happy about a certain decision we make, but you can build that confidence with that relationship and say, hey, trust me, we haven't steered you wrong in the past. This might seem kind of wrong to you now, but we can go through it, and I'll show you where it's going to be for the best.
It's a good segue to my next question. As in any leadership position, whereas council, mayor, in your position, you're going to make decisions that's not going to please everybody. And there's always going to be those, for one reason or another, who are going to question those decisions. How do you react to those, and how do you respond to something like that?
I'm open to any discourse. I mean, any person who wants to speak to me. I checked the website, and I was trying to look at you guys' names ahead of time so I can make a good impression of everybody's name. But no one's listed. It just says city council. I'd love for there to be some kind of email or phone number or some kind of contact where you could reach out to a councilman before a meeting. Maybe just throw
It should all be on
It's
there.
all on
It's
there.
all
Is
on
it?
it.
I went to council, it just says council.
Got it, click on it.
Okay. But yeah, just having this conversation with people, I think that if you can meet at the common ground, the common road. So I make no apologies. I'm a Christian, so I keep my everything that comes from the Bible, comes from the Ten Commandments. That's where I start. That's how I approach things. We can agree to disagree on certain things. A good thing I would say is that just check our track record, check a decision that you might not agree with. Let's give it 3 months, and if you don't like what's happening, we can rediscuss it or do a trial with it. I'm pretty easy to talk to and open to talk to. Like I said, anybody who want to talk, I'm available all the time. From negotiations with China to my supplier in Washington State with my cologne and stuff like that. Sometimes we butt heads, sometimes the numbers aren't right, or sometimes we're not quite dialed in on something, and it's just a matter of working together and everyone understand that we're here for the city, that we're here for the city of Williamstown, and if everyone can understand that everyone here is trying to make the city better, then I think difference of opinions is fine.
Did you say you have a fragrance or a cologne that you sell?
Yeah, I make a bourbon and moonshine cologne.
That's interesting. I'll check that out. Also, I got a couple questions. Just to make sure that you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening in current events here in the city, can you name one either exciting thing that's going on or something that's an issue? I just kind of want to know if you've been watching any of the videos, or just kind of see where you're at with keeping in track with what's happening on city council.
Well, obviously the mayor being replaced is a big one. I would say the Bluegrass Festival is one of the things that pops out to me that I try to follow. And then, like you mentioned, the Marigold Festival, that it's appealing to the residents, and that's a definite, I can say at least for me, is my kids are looking forward to attending the Marigold Festival. Problems, I mean, from what I've heard from citizens here, would be just that they feel like they pay too much for taxes. That's a common problem. And I think that it's a twofold issue. One, it's maybe articulation on, hey, this is temporary, this is gonna be something for the better, and bring it that way versus, and then the other one would be just fiscal responsibility. And I don't think I can state anything on that. I haven't looked into the records or looked into the spending to even start thinking that way, but yeah, I mean, the festivals I think are great here. I think they're a great way to bring in revenue, a great way to bring in, a great way to celebrate the city. The parades, the Christmas parade was the first, so I moved into the city December of '21, and we attended the Christmas pageant, and my girls love seeing Santa's sleigh come through at the end. And the small town feel that we have here, it just feels like home. So I would say that the Bluegrass Festival, the person who used to own my house, Rita Beach, she usually sings at those. Yeah, and then the mayor, obviously, but that's it.
Okay.
Mention that.
Well, last question, I'm sorry I'm asking so many, but just with you working at the Arc, obviously they're our biggest business here in town. Is there anything that you would do better to either strengthen the relationship with the city or just to do anything that could, to partner? I don't know if you can even do that, being on city council, it might be a conflict of interest, but anything that, in your mind, that could, that would be more of a win-win for the city and for the Arc to work together and do something?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, actually. Thank you, Mr. King, for mentioning that. I really think I could. I think that the big problem is that the Arc and the city don't talk as much as they should. I think that there are different ways we could bring more people into Williamstown. So before, I would say, 5 or 6 years ago, we had almost no one coming left. We put a big sign up, say, hey, turn left into Williamstown. The Airbnbs have brought a lot of business into the city. I've noticed, I walk out my door, Airbnb, 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 Airbnb. Those people are potential business, potential people to come and see the city and to remember Williamstown and to remember it as a destination, not just the Arc Encounter. I think that we missed a big opportunity by just everyone comes to the Arc and no one comes to Williamstown. I live in the city of Williamstown and I also work at the Arc. I love both. I'm not for one or the other more than the other. I think that the Arc could work with you guys, whether it be, I was driving here and I was thinking, what if we comped $2 for, we negotiated a deal with the parking, right? It's $10 to park at the Arc Encounter. If the city negotiated a rate, say like $4 or something like that, where we could offer a coupon to the person where if they come downtown and they get 3 or 4 stamps on their page that we reimburse their $4 parking. But then they gotta go into John's shop, they gotta go into the floral store, they gotta go into the coffee shop. The wine tour in Pigeon Forge is kind of like what they do. They have everyone come in, you get your stamps, you get a free t-shirt. It's just like a separate experience for people to come through and come downtown. I think that there's a lot of opportunities to work together. I mean, I can, like you said, conflict of interest. I'm kind of outside of the leadership there enough to where I don't really have a say. I don't think they care what I have to say as much, but I know people to talk to where I can say, hey, this is me as Councilman Alsop speaking to you about this project versus me just being an officer there. My stuff's pretty much, I clock in, I do my law enforcement gig, and I clock out. But yeah, just things like that. I think that having more businesses open and just, so like Pigeon Forge is spread out. It's a whole strip. Right now, the Arc is itself. It's its own 800 acres, and no one goes on or off with it until they're going to the highway. They're getting ready to move the virtual reality theater, which is like a VR sit-down kind of thing, to the top of the Arc. I would reach out to them and say, hey, let's put that off the Arc property that they own, where the old gas station was. They tore down there next to El Jalisco, that little flat lot right there. They own that section. But if they bring that and they put it outside of the Arc Encounter, now someone who's staying there doesn't have to go to the Arc the second day. They're in Williamstown, they're visiting another business in Williamstown, and we can bring more businesses into that area so that we're not just, are you at the Arc today? Okay, have a nice day. Are you off the Arc? No. I'm in the area, I'm by El Jalisco, I'm by the virtual reality now. You know, do we put a business out by Easy Stop and get people to turn left, get people to start going that direction, open new businesses, steal some from Dry Ridge. Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. I could talk for hours about it, but I'll save you guys time. But I have a few ideas, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, appreciate it, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Joshua Cook, I believe, could not make it, correct? He's in- Okay, April Fabella. If I pronounced your name wrong, please
No, I
tell
was
me.
getting ready to say, you did it right. Everybody got it right. So, I am April Fabella. I live on 111 High Street, right here in town, by the post office. I've actually been in this town, or I worked in this town, our county, since '97, whenever I graduated from Hilton County and made it over here, and I haven't really left since. So, this is where I wanted to grow a family, raise my kids. I want to be on the council because I want to make things better for my kids. I want them to be able to have things to do. We have Airbnbs on, I always go over and welcome them, and they always ask, what is there to do? What is there to do right now? Well, right now we have the restaurants, but as far as all the kids they have with us, like, what do we have for them to do? Nothing. I want to get the web park, I want to get the grants and stuff funded for that, so I can say there's a really nice park just right down the street. Maybe get a bite to eat and go to the park and play, with kids or whatever. Also with the amphitheater being there, it's been there and there's nothing going on with it. I mean, we want to be able to get, concerts and, maybe pageants again. We talked about the Marigold Day. I remember when we had Marigold pageants. My daughter-in-law was Miss Marigold. I mean, I think it would be fun for especially the girls and the kids to be able, or even have a Mr. and Miss, like we do for the park. Or for the fair. I'm also a foster mom, so I do a lot of prioritizing for the children and the families. I make decisions that not everyone likes. I make decisions for families that I don't benefit from, but it's right for the child or for the family. I advocate for those families, and I'd like to advocate for the Williamstown family and children. This summer, I'm also working with our state senator, Matt Nunn, and he's asked me to be on board to advocate for our foster families there. So that's going to be fun. I'm a teacher at the Williamstown Methodist Bilingual Preschool here, so my schedule is day shift mornings. So any of the schedule will not conflict with any of your meetings, special or already scheduled. I just like to help the city move forward financially as well as, obtaining the things that we need for the county and the city. Like I said, in '97 when I came here, our city was busy. We had, a city full of stores, restaurants. I worked for Alice back in the early '90s when I was probably 15, 16. We had a little restaurant and store downtown, which was awesome. I'd like to see a little convenience store for some of the families so we don't have to go to Walmart or, even Rulers for some of the community people. It's not real close if you're, you don't have a car or you don't have a way to get there. I guess that's it. I've just worked in the community and I think I can voice for the residents. My hopes is with the new mayor and a seat filled on the city council that this will be what we call a new beginning for the city. That's what I've seen when I've seen the changes being made. Is that it?
Thank you. Questions for April?
Come on, Jason, I know you got something.
Well, you already answered my availability question, that's great, glad you have
I was
availability.
listening for, so I could save you all some of your questions.
I guess same thing, having your finger on the pulse of what's happening around here. What have you heard and what would you say are some of the pressing issues that we have going on in the city?
I think the biggest thing right now is the financial state that we're in. I've listened to John a lot about the parks because, we don't really have a park for my children to go play at unless we go, to Dry Ridge or even Crittenden. I don't know if we can, and that was something I was probably gonna ask later, but the new park that they put at the end of Cherry Hill, is that open to all Williamstown residents or is it just for the Cherry Hill residents? No one's ever on it, that's why, when I pass there, nobody's ever on it. I'm like, wonder if I could take my kids there, is there somewhere else that we could take our kids to play here in town without having to pack up the car and take everything with us, everything but the kitchen sink with us? The web park would be great, I can walk there with my kids, and if we could, get that back up and running, that would be amazing. Birthday parties, I remember having birthday parties there at Web, and that would bring money in. Because, you know, people want to have their parties for their kids outside and having the playground and stuff to do. You can ride bikes out there, but right now it's just not somewhere that you want to take your family.
Anyone else?
What's the number one improvement at the park that you think we need to have done?
Everything. I mean, like the tennis courts and stuff aren't bad. I mean, and the playground materials, it's pretty up to date. I would think just there in the back, bathrooms, I think could use some upgrading. The picnic area there where, like I said, you can rent for parties and stuff. I mean, we haven't been there, back there in a while because I just don't think it's a really nice place to go for the kids right now. I mean, it just needs a lot of improvement. You just don't hear people talking about web. Like, people ask on Facebook, like, where can we have our child's party that's not super expensive? You know, you can rent things, but it's $200 and $300 for an hour or 2 hours. Like, where can we go outside to do it? And I remember web not being that expensive. I mean, to be able to do the shelter for a couple hours. I've been to baby showers there, birthday parties there. I just think that would be one nice thing. And then, like I said about the Marigold Day, getting it back on and having family and kids come to town.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Josh. Being in a leadership position, you're gonna get people who disagree, and you're gonna have people say things that may or may not even be true. How do you deal with those type of issues?
I mean, I think I've dealt with a lot of criticism through the years working. I mean, I've been a server, work at a bank. Mr. Crupper knows that, you know, I'm not always right when it comes to financial part. When people come in and their bank account's messed up or they bounced a check, obviously it's my fault that they bounced a check. Not because they didn't have the money, but when you work at a bank, that's the first thing they want to do. So, you know, you have to deal with the customer yelling and screaming at you and just, okay, and then just bring them down. Like, you can't jump across the counter and go after them. You have to talk them down. So I think the criticism, me being in foster care, you know, being before judges, I mean, once or twice a month with my kids, you know, you have to deal with them, you know, saying things that you don't agree with, but I'm not gonna argue with a judge or a social worker, so we just kind of go with the flow.
That's all I got. Anyone else? Thank you, April, we really appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Robert Perry. Oh, please speak in the mic, everybody. We're having a hard time hearing you at home.
Is it working?
And it might not even be on.
Okay. My name is Robert Perry. I've served on Williamstown council since, most of y'all don't know, since 1997. I was chosen, or I put in for the same circumstances that we're going through now. Mayor was impeached, and I was chosen to fill in for Glenn Coyle, who they elected mayor. I've served every year since then except for 3 terms, which is the last term. I did not file to run again. I've served with Kim Crupper probably for over 50-some years between us. I've served with Jenna, probably the second longest. I've served with all of y'all. I served with you, David, when we elected you as council member. Before I became on council, years ago, you all won't remember, but the school had a flag football league. I coached 2 years in that with the young kids and it's over. Then Williamstown actually played on the ball field down back here. We had Pony League. And Williamstown had a team and they folded in the middle of the season. And the boys that were coming out of Little League were too young to play, but I had permission to take the team over and play. First half of the season, we didn't win a game. Second season, we might have won a couple. Third season, we went undefeated. I told them that year before, they went undefeated, I'd take them to Kings Island. And unfortunately, I took them to Kings Island. The 4th year, I made the same statement beginning of the year. And fortunately or unfortunately, I took them all to Kings Island. But besides that, I believe being on council is more than just sitting up there for council meetings. I ran Derby Day Car Show for a number of years, and we never had to get any funding from the city. We were able to pay for the trophies and everything, pay the disc jockey, and we actually made money on it. I have used my boat, my personal boat, out on the lake for a number of years, moving the buoys around, something I wanted to do with Derek and normally the several members of the street department. And you get a special feeling when you've been on city council for a number of years. And I know you all have gone through a pretty tough period, but we're getting things. Now I'm experienced, and I know that the budget's coming up. If you all have not already started, and I've been on a budget for all these years. And I just think I need to fulfill something. I did not run last time, there was a reason. And things have worked out great. And I just would like to finish out this term, and then I will slowly go out into the sunset. It'll be enough years. But I've served with all of you all.
You sure have. Thank you, Bob. Questions for Mr. Perry?
Well, thank you for your service. We appreciate everything you've done for the city up to this point, and it's been nice to serve along you as well. Just kind of thinking with your previous retirement, have you had any time to reflect on and think about what you might do differently if you came back onto the council? What would you like to see done in being another opportunity to serve? What would you like to, what's your vision for moving forward, I guess?
First of all, I'd like to say years ago, there was a business organization, Downtown Businesses, and I was asked to meet with them several times. I would love to see that come back, and I would also like to see that if you've driven through town the last couple of weekends, Friday, Saturday nights, also through the weeks, this town's been full of people from the Ark. My brother and I came through last Saturday in one of his old trucks, and we stopped to get ice cream. They were lined up, 2 different lines out the street. And while we were walking up there through the Baptist Church parking lot, I found a pair of sunglasses and a case for them. So anyway, we went in. Well, we wasn't going to wait, but we hollered at everybody about those glasses. So we went up to Hansi Flip Burgers, which was full, absolutely full. And first table we went up to, I walked up behind the lady, and her daughter was sitting next to the wall and said, "He's found your glasses." But we noticed there was cars from California here, Illinois, the whole east side of the street was full. All the restaurants were full, the pizza place was full. And I think we need to work maybe with the merchants and somehow draw even more people. But for years, we didn't get those kind of crowds, but thanks to the businesses. And Jason, your idea about the amphitheater, absolutely, that was built several years ago. And my thought back then was, even though we didn't have a bandstand, we used what we did when the bands played. And then the high school band's up a couple times a year. There's things we can do and to bring more people downtown. But I'm telling you, weekends down here, and even through the week, we're getting more and more people from the Ark into Williamstown. I will say that. But and I talked to David a little while ago about some things, whether I get on council or not. I want to come up and talk to him about.
You're always welcome.
One of them, we need to set an ordinance about people speaking from the audience. In the past, it's gotten pretty darn wild, out of control. And the state recommends certain things, but a lot of your cities have own ordinances, and I think we need city ordinance on, speaking, and people will get up in the middle of the audience. They won't give you their name, and that's all basically required, and you have to have that. But anybody else want to ask me a question? But
No other questions for Mr. Perry?
But I would just like to say, and I know all of you all have it too, you get a feeling after you've been on council and you're proud. And I've never refused to take a phone call. I have been jumped in public on some things. And something else I think we all should be proud of. I don't think we've raised our city taxes for years up here. We have not raised them. And you all remember a little thing we got on our phones a few years ago, that how bad we were for raising them. We've never raised them for, Kim, you can tell me how many years, 5, 6, 7 years.
Been a long time, Bob.
We've never raised our city tax.
No pressure there.
We've kept it the same. So, thank you all. I appreciate it.
Bob, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, and then last, and certainly not least, Patrick Whalen.
My name is Patrick Whalen. Didn't know I was going to have a presentation tonight. I've been a lifelong resident, other than 1 year. My newlywed wife made me move to Boone County, which was mistaken. Moved back here, love Williamstown. I grew up on Falmouth Street. I currently live on Falmouth Street. Not planning on going anywhere currently. A little bit of background about myself. 15 years, volunteer firefighter. Other than the last 4 months here, I've been a part-time firefighter with the city of Williamstown. Basic service to community, nothing special. Held different ranks throughout the years. Professionally, I'm a firefighter paramedic up in the city of Florence. I've been there for about 3 years, and then before that I worked for MGP. I worked with them for about 8 years. In 5 of those years I was a manager. Managed initially this site, then COVID happened. I managed all 3 sites by myself for about a year. In that, did a multi-million-dollar budget each year. International shipping, inventory, spotless financials on anything that I touched. Had 30 employees. They were daily reports. Did all their policy and procedure stuff, any HR disciplinary stuff. Dealt with all those issues. 30 blue-collar guys. Gets a little rowdy sometimes, so it was not a walk in the park. Other than that, I mean, I've got 2 lovely daughters and a lovely wife. We live here in Williamstown. We love it. Go down to Webb Park about every other day, it seems like. Go to J.D. Miller. Good community to live in. Like to see it grow, but you can't drive growth with you can't force people to grow. It just happens, and I think being on council, you'd be able to kind of help that along. If it popped up to you, you'd be able to say, yeah, let's go with this, or take a look at it a little bit closer. I'm young. I don't know anything about the politics in it. I'm a fast learner. Pretty simple. But any questions for me?
Questions for Patrick?
Well, I'm always the first guy? Okay. Just your schedule as well for being a firefighter.
Yep.
How does that look if you're to be here the first Monday, second, or third Tuesday of every month?
The way it works, I was looking at it a couple days ago. Basically, every 3rd month, it would be an issue on both days for the regular schedule. But I can take APL, so approved personal leave. I can take that pretty freely as long as I can look at my schedule. I know when I'm going to retire basically already, so I can look at it for years in advance. So other than just sitting down and taking the time off, or I can do what they call a shift trade, which I go to somebody like you and say, hey, can you work for me today? And you switch your time. So not really a big issue. I'm sure there'd be 1 or 2 in there that at the start of the line, I wouldn't be able to make it happen. But for the most part, it shouldn't be a problem. I do have a pretty extensive vacation in September that I'm going on. I'll be gone out west all September, so that's really the only thing I've got going on.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm available 24/7. People call me all the time with stuff. I answer my phone, I'm always up.
Good. And then the second question I asked everybody is, just having your finger on the pulse of what's happening around our community. I know you've been to a lot of the council meetings, but share with us something that comes to mind that you think is just a major thing that we need to handle.
Mayor Henson hit on it here a couple weeks ago, I think, talking about the city personnel policy and handbook. I think that's a major thing that needs to be addressed just for all the employees. I mean, there's a lot of outdated stuff in there. I mean, you pick any page you want and there's outdated stuff. And if you're gonna run a business, well, I mean, this is a business, but if you're gonna run a city, a business, you need to protect yourself. There's some outdated stuff that can get you in trouble in there in today's day and age that have change over time. So just tidying up shop on those, getting those, into the current decade, current era. I mean, the impeachment's a big thing, but I mean, it is what it is. It's already all done. And then there's a lot of talk about grants and stuff. Grants are great if you can get them. I think everybody's up here pretty much aware of that. You don't get them when you put in for them all the time. So I know there was some stuff about Webb Park that you had brought up here, I don't know, probably 8 months ago or so. And setting money aside now versus spending it later on a grant. Just capitalizing on those grants if you can get them, but still move the ball forward, even if you can't get those grant funding. Sometimes you gotta pay out of your own pocket to do it. So, but yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you.
I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, do you feel like that you would be able to, if you were here, be able to sit and like if there was issues with the fire department, which we've had things in the past, would that be something that you would be able to look at objectively, and maybe set aside your personal thoughts or feelings and feel like you could make the best decision, for the city, for the fire department without it flowing over into personal
Yeah.
stuff?
I mean, absolutely. I feel like I could do that, or else I wouldn't say that I could. My last part-time day is today, or tonight, so I'm going back to volunteer. So there shouldn't be any official conflict of interest with anything if selected, and if not, it's not too legal. But if there was something I was, on the fence about, I would just probably sit out from that vote. Because, there are some certain things that can be an issue. So, I mean, it could even be about me. So, yeah, I'd be able to
Okay.
How do you handle conflict, Patrick? When there's conflict, I'm sure you get it just being a firefighter with some issues or.
Well, I've lived a life of conflict.
Yeah.
But the way I like to deal with conflict is try to sit down with a person, discuss the issue, see what their side is, discuss my side. Because somewhere in the middle is always the truth, or generally. So try to sit down and communicate through it. I know that, my father, he's not the most soft-spoken person in the world. But I'd like to think that we take away the good things from our parents and shed the bad, so we're always evolving. So just try to sit down, talk it out, figure out what the issue is really. And sometimes the issue isn't what the conflict's all about.
Yep.
You gotta sit down and talk it out sometimes.
That's a true statement. Thank you. Anything else?
I got one for you, Patrick. And sorry that you're the only one I asked a question to, but I have talked to you in the past, and you have mentioned about running in the past. And I was just wondering why now? Because you didn't run during the election, and then, but we
Well,
had
I
talked
missed
about you.
Yeah, so, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I talked about it. And when I decided to, and I got on the KRS and looked at all that Happy Horse jazz. I was late, so I had to run it as a ride-in, which I think I could have done, but I figured the race was already set, let's go. But the biggest thing, why I decided to put in for this one is, I didn't want there only to be 1 or 2 people to put in, and then you have a very short pool to draw from. So even if I'm the last guy in the race, at least
Here in the
it gave
race.
me an option to say, oh, well, this guy's interested in it. And, you know, never know, somebody else might step down next week, say, oh, well, he was interested then, I wonder if he's still interested now. So that's why. I was too late to the party. You know,
Just curious.
Got anything, sir?
No, I've listened very well to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Absolutely.
We certainly appreciate all the applicants and for your interview and for your conversation. You know, it's something where people talk about and they look and they read the paper and they see what's going on, but to get up there and actually volunteer to put your time in and to make a difference certainly is appreciated, and not everybody is willing to do that. That being said, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session under the authority of KRS 61.810 IF, discussion of the replacement of City Council member David A. Henson.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
We have a motion made by Councilor Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Councilman Crupper. Is any discussion on the motion? Roll call?
John Coleman,
Yes.
Kim Pepper,
Yes.
Jason Payne,
Yes.
Jen Smith.
That pains me.
Okay. I'm just waiting for Jason. Jason's here. Okay, we will take a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crupper, Mr. Coleman, any discussion? Roll call.
John Coleman.
Yes.
Kim Pepper.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Jenna Smith.
Okay, we're officially out of executive session. No decisions were made in executive session, no votes were taken. And now I will take, if any, motions from anybody who would like to.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to appoint April Fabella to Williamstown City Council to fulfill the rest of the term that you held, Mr. Hinton.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilor Smith to appoint April Fabella to do the remaining term for my council seat to December 31st, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Payne. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Well, before, to everybody that applied, I appreciate it, and I would encourage, just because you didn't get on, there is ways to help out and things that you can do to help us, and we would appreciate that at any time.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd like to also say you guys all did a great job, and everybody's very qualified for this role, and we just analyzed every little part of it, and it was a hard decision, but we appreciate your participation. It's wonderful when you give back to your community, and there's always opportunities up here, and I think this is great that you're taking the first step to participate in this role. Don't quit up that idea, because any one of us can. We'd love to see you in the next election. If some of us may not return. So anyway, all I have to say is please don't stop here. Continue to be a part of the process.
Yeah, I will tell you, the first time I applied, I was for an appointment, I did not get it. There was another vacancy just a few weeks later, and I was fortunate to be appointed at that time, so it does happen. Okay, we've had a motion, we've had discussion, roll call.
John Coleman.
Yes.
Kim Pepper.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Jenna Smith.
Yes.
Motion. Congratulations, April. And again, thank you to everybody. Now, we will do swearing in on Tuesday's meeting. Okay, we meet first Monday of every month, third Tuesday. And we'll have a packed meeting on Tuesday. Be ready. That being said,
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
John Coleman.
Yes.
Kim Pepper.
Yes.
Jason Payne.
Yes.
Jenna Smith.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank